Hello everyone. Welcome to yet another interesting episode of Thin Science. Long before Greta Thunberg exclaimed, "How dare you?" there were some of us who understood how crucial it is to conserve our natural resources and maintain the delicate balance within nature. They had understood that it is the need of the hour and that it requires conscious and collective effort. But more importantly, they had answered the question how we as an individual can contribute to this endeavor. Aside from focusing on using water and electricity sensibly, there are other green initiatives which we can adopt. But one such area where we can drive the change we want to see is that of domestic waste management. Today in Thin Science, we will meet two such individuals, Mrs. Alka Damle and Mr. Abhinav Apte, who have in their own way started a revolution in domestic waste management. Mrs. Damle, with a master's degree in statistics and a bachelor's degree in education, has taught mathematics in several reputed schools and colleges of Goa, Mumbai, and Delhi. Raised with the belief that an educated person understands social responsibility and gives back to society, or else one is just literate, not educated, she has tirelessly worked to make Vasco and its vicinity a better place to live through several clean city drives and activities. Abhinav Apte holds a BTech in mechanical engineering and a master's degree in business administration. He is a change management catalyst for sustainable development and has been a composting practitioner and trainer since 2012. Thin Science is delighted to welcome these two individuals in our episode today.
Okay, thank you, Alkaji, for having this beautiful session hosted here in your place, and thank you all for coming. Now, this first something about compost, then something about compost will, and then we'll get back to the topic. So, compost is a helpline, WhatsApp helpline, which was started in 2018 September. It was for all those people who wanted to do something like they read somewhere, they learn, hear some talk, and they want to do something about it. So what they do is they go to online or marketplace or a close shop somewhere, and they buy a composting kit, whether it is a bucket or a bin, whichever kit, and then they have in their houses, and then they start composting. And what happens after a period of time, say 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, because of improper monitoring, or because of not enough mixing, or so many things like that, various reasons, what happens is the pile starts giving some trouble in the sense of leachate, or it could be smell, it could be some insects, it could be some flies. So what happens is, when this comes, there is no platform where they can discuss as to now what do I do with this. Now this is something, there's a problem, how do I solve this problem? So when they go to the online marketplace, the vendor, they say that everything is written in the pamphlet, you follow. Some other people say you watch YouTube videos and then you'll go and get some guidance. But we thought that let us have a helpline where people can discuss issues and ask questions, give answers, and have a neighborhood which will be growing along with each other by learning from each other. So it's like a community which is growing by learning from each other. So that is why we call it compost. So when you come, and you can post your queries, and then there are so many people who can answer those queries. So that was compost. That has grown to some 500 plus people in Goa, like in a couple of years. So then we had an idea that let us now add some more fun element to it. So that is where Compostville was started. So Compostville is what? Compostville is a game. So what is this game about? This is a game of 90 days as compared to football, which is a 90 minutes game. Okay, football is a 90-minute game. Compostville is a 90-day game. Football has half time at 45 minutes, where side is changed. Compostville has a half time at 45 days when a bin is complete, like a full, and then you change the bin. Okay. Then there are coaches in football. Here also there are coaches. So the Compostville is right now played between 5 teams at Panji, Madgaon, Mapsa, Vasco and Ponda. Each of those teams has a WhatsApp group, and each of those teams has a coach assigned to that particular team. So there are players who are actually taking part of composting in composting. There are also cheerleaders who are supporting each other, and growing that movement by getting more people. And there are of course coaches. The coach for the Vasco team is Mrs. Damle, and that is how this concept is. And then this huddle, we call it huddle because in football there are huddles to strategize, to support each other, to encourage how we can play this game, how can we get more people. So this is a similar kind of a huddle. So this is about Compostville. We take a round down, and then I'll explain you about vermicompost and bioenzymes once you have that round.
We now take you to the site of the composting demonstration.
Waste is wealth. We can create wealth out of our own waste. And everybody in this world, I strongly believe that we owe it back to the society in which we live, and owing it back to the earth is the most important if we want to save our earth. And therefore, what comes from earth has to go back to earth. And that's how I never gave my wet garbage. Then 10 years back, 2010, so yeah, 10 years back when we finally settled down, my husband retired, and when we settled down here, the day one I started composting my wet garbage. I never gave my wet garbage. So now the first thing is, everybody learns through experiences, and trial and errors. I am not an expert. I have learned over 10 years, and mine is the simplest method because I have no energy. Age is not on my side. Getting a labor is a problem, and which is easy. That is what I have been practicing. So the first thing, as soon as we settle down, same thing. Oh, without bin I can't do it. I want a bin. So Shakti, this is available in Verna. Yeah. 12 years back, 10 years back, 2010, I got this. Not realizing for the just family of 2, this is too big for me. So I then started using, initially for first 6 months, I used to put my wet garbage here. But then it will never get filled up. And then it will start smelling. So I stopped that, and I was using it for collecting my dry leaves and keeping it there. Then I said, why should I dig a pit? I thought of digging a pit. I called a labor. He quoted something like 10,000-15,000 for pit because it's all rocky. So then I said, why dig a pit? Let me construct a well above the ground. It is the ground. So I bought these bricks and then just created a cubicle kind of a thing. I started putting my dry leaves. There is a compartment here. Right, it had a compartment. There is in between, there is a divider. So my dry leaves, once this is full, then it goes there. Okay, then when that is also in the monsoon especially. When that is also not enough, what I did, I collected the stones around, whatever stones I found, and constructed it here. Just put dry leaves here. Okay. Now in these dry leaves, of course, you have to keep it moist.
No, okay, here the dry leaves and the mud ones, no? Nothing
No
else.
mud.
No, there's no mud in this.
Just dry leaves.
Just dry leaves.
Just dry leaves.
You use it after putting the thing, you put those dry leaves onto it.
I can get you.
Right. You have kept the dry leaves separate.
No, these are the dry leaves. When this was
Oh,
full,
this was just dry
this is
leaves.
already composted now.
Okay.
But in that you put your wet waste.
No.
With the
No,
it's only
this
dry
is
leaves.
only the garden browns. This is
Okay.
only the garden browns, okay?
Okay. So what do you do?
But
you,
without-
you don't have to shake it or this is
No,
not
you have to keep it moist, and because underneath is the earth, now what I do is once in 15 days I add vermicompost. Initially, I just got a bag full of vermicompost from a nursery, from Zuari, wherever. And then now that I have my own vermicompost, you can see it there. It is sieved. This part is already ready to be sieved. But as the monsoon is prolonged this time, it's still little wettish. So I have been sieving it, and now I have got a good vermicompost here. So this vermicompost has eggs of earthworms. So I just sprinkle once in 15 days of this vermicompost on that. Only thing is you have to always keep it moist because there are earthworms which are down below in the earth. They never come up. If you dig, when I dig the whole thing and bring it here, yes, the other day I posted a photo also of the earthworms coming. I just quickly pick them up and put them back in that. Okay. So that's it. Even this is ready to be sifted. And there is no question of any odor and all over here because it's only dry leaves. Okay.
Only dry leaves, and this is the result of all the dry leaves.
Yes, yes, this is the result of this.
So there's no soil at all.
No soil at all. Yeah. Now what happens is these almond seeds and all, they don't get composted at all. So that's how when I sieve, now he will remove, like when he's collecting the garbage in the morning when he comes to sweep, sometimes even the stones go in. So after sieving, he will remove the stones and the seeds and all that, and rest of it can go to my hardy plants over here. This goes to my potted plants, and rest of it will go to the hardy plants, like I have so many of them here. Okay, so that's it. So this is the simplest method, nothing to be done. You have dry leaves, make a well, don't have to dig. Sprinkle water every day is important because down below there are earthworms, they require moisture. And excess water question doesn't arise because it's in the soil. So whatever excess water, in any case, it goes in the soil.
That means the rain, this was like this only.
Yeah, it was like this only, yeah.
Because it was in the soil.
Yeah. So excess water is no problem at all. Okay. So that's how now both these are actually ready. So now the monsoon is over, so we have started now sieving it. This is the compost which is from my kitchen waste.
Okay.
This in the bottle which you see is the kitchen waste. Okay. Now how it happens? Here goes the kitchen waste. I'll just show you. All my kitchen waste, it's all vegetarian, yes. Okay, all my kitchen waste here, peas and all. I'll put it here. Okay. Whatever. Absolutely no problem. And this can put, this you can put.
This is useful
Yeah,
here.
yeah, this is useful here. Absorb it. Then, if you, I never get the smell actually, but I have neem leaves, I have this lemongrass. Just chop it and add if you want, okay? Then, here are the dry leaves. Just cover it with dry leaves, plenty of it. See, are you getting any smell? This is my last 1.5 month kitchen garbage. Please tell me if you are getting smell. Yeah. So this is my last 1.5 months. And all my kitchen waste vegetarian, because we are basically vegetarian. Okay. We do eat prawns and chicken once in a while, maybe once or twice a week. Otherwise, if you have plenty, the only option for the non-veg is dig a pit, bury it in that pit, cover the pit, especially good for papita, good for coconut, all fruiting trees, and cover it with a huge stone so that the rats and rodents don't go in, or heavy iron grill, so that a grill has to be fine, wire mesh has to be fine, so that the rats can't move it. Okay, so that can be done. If it's an open pit, which is dangerous if you have a dog around or something, then it has to be covered, the pit has to be covered either with the iron grill or with the stone which you can move. Okay, and then dig it down. At least 1.5 foot. The pit doesn't have to be very wide. It has to be 1.5 foot down. And keep on putting it. Okay? And you can put the soil also in that.
This one you said 1.5 months.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
if you want to harvest it, the manure, you have to keep it, if you keep on adding every day,
I'll
that
show
will,
you.
that
I'm coming to that, okay? Let's come here. This compost is very, very good. Once it dries, I'll be able to see it well.
So today we are going to show you a demo of how a aerobic composting is done. So for aerobic composting, you can take any container. It can be a a bucket like this which you have. It can be a broken or no, however it is. It can be any pot, it can be any container. What you have to do is you have to have these holes at the bottom for drainage and holes at the side for aeration. Okay, once you have these holes and your container is ready, you can start adding dry leaves. You can have any dry leaves of any tree, and you can have a small layer of those dry leaves at the bottom. You can have one layer of the dry leaves. On those dry leaves, you add your kitchen scraps. No, you can start with uncooked vegetable peels, fruit peels, etc. So first layer of dry leaves, a layer of your kitchen scrap of vegetables and fruits. Then you have to stir it like this. You have to stir it, then again add vegetable and fruit peels, again add dry leaves, and then over a period of time, your mixture will look like this. It will look like this. This is how it will look. So the moisture level of this has to be maintained. So for that purpose, you are adding dry leaves, and the moisture should be such that it become, you can make a laddu out of it. When you press it, it takes that shape. Okay, and there is no moisture which is coming out of it. So that is how the consistency should be. So once you have this consistency, it takes approximately around 2 to 3 months, depending how much you are mixing and monitoring well, and adding dry leaves, etc. It takes approximately that much time for your compost to be ready. So what you have to ensure is minimum moisture. Your moisture should not be a very soggy thing. So that is one thing. You have to turn it like this, not a superficial turning, but you have to turn it like right from the bottom up like that, and you have to mix the entire pile. Once you do that, your pile will not smell because it will get aeration from all sides. And then you have to keep this pile and cover it. You can use any cover and just cover this pile so that no fruit flies get into the pile. Also, you have to protect in such a way that there are no rats and things that go inside. So for that, you have to ensure the place which you choose is a very safe place for that. So that is the care that you have to take. And then once this is done, it turns into black. Whatever kitchen scrap you have, it turns into black, and it smells like the smell of earth in the first monsoon, first rains. When the soil gives out that kind of a smell, that is the smell you get from this aerobic composting. What all you can add? You can add almost everything that you eat, but you should start with vegetable peels and fruit peels, gradually move to cooked vegetable food, and then to non-veg food waste. Because non-veg food waste is the most difficult to digest and the most difficult to compost. So you should start very small. Start with the easiest thing, build confidence, and then you can go over to cooked vegetable and non-vegetable waste. So this is about the aerobic composting. Now I am going to show you vermicomposting. So what is vermicomposting? Vermicomposting also is aerobic composting, but with the use of these worms. So these particular variety are called Eisenia fetida. So these are called Eisenia fetida, and they are very fast. They multiply very fast, and they are voracious eaters also. So you can see them all over this composting pile. So these are the Eisenia fetida variety of earthworms. So why earthworms are to be used? They add to the nutrient content of your normal compost. So when your food scraps go through their digestive system, a lot of nutrients get added to this compost. So there is some care to be taken while handling earthworms, because they do not like an environment which is very acidic. So citrus and lime and tamarind, these kind of acidic materials you should avoid. And also you should have a little more moisture, like this moisture level in this particular pile is a little more than that. So the earthworms need some moisture but not too much. Another thing that you have to take care is your pile, this wherever you are having this container, you should not have water clogging in that container. So you should have good bottom drains so that all the water that gets accumulated, it's all drained off. Another thing that you have to take care is you should have a small container like this below your pile, and if you are having this earthworm composting, vermicomposting here, you should add water in this so that ants do not cross over and go into your pile, because ants will then kill all the earthworms. This is the care that you have to take for earthworms. How do you harvest your vermicompost? So once your earthworms are added in this, and once they do their job, how do you separate earthworms from your compost? So there are two ways of doing it. As you can see, when there is a lot of light, all of these earthworms go at the bottom. So they do not like light. So that is where you can harvest the topmost cover. You can keep this light, and maybe after some few minutes, all of them will go down and you can harvest the top layer. Second is, you can stop feeding these worms after a certain point in time and wait, and then add a small saucer or a small pipe which you can keep at one corner. All the earthworms will then come to consume that particular pile, and then you can, rest of the thing is your harvest. So that is the two ways of how you separate your earthworms from your vermicompost. There is another way which is called black soldier fly larvae. So black soldier fly larvae are a type of larvae which are voracious eaters of food scraps. So they also get into your pile if your pile is a little more moist, and they do not have any harmful effects. They do not bite, they do not spread infection. The only issue with them is people get freaked out because of their appearance and because of their movement, because they just roll, once their job is done, they roll over and then they go to your various rooms and all. The people get freaked out. That is the only downside. They come in your pile because your pile is a little more moist. So if you want to avoid them coming, you should ensure that your moisture level is not too much. It make your pile dry. In case they come, in case the maggots and the soldier fly larvae come in your pile, what you can do is you can just spread out your contents on in the sun, make it dry, and then they all will be gone. Yeah. So these are the three methods of aerobic composting. For anaerobic composting, it's called bokashi composting. That is also another method where the trussed bins or the bins which have a tap at the bottom, that is where the anaerobic digestion happens. So there is another method of composting which is anaerobic composting. It's called bokashi composting. You add your contents of kitchen scrap into that, and then you forget about it. There is some culture which they give, which are basically those to accelerate movement of those bacteria, anaerobic bacteria in the pile, and they do the majority of the digestion. After a couple of months, you just get some leachate out of it. That leachate is to be diluted 20 times in water and then used for your garden or plants. So that is the anaerobic or bokashi composting.
Thank you, Abhinav, Mrs. Damle, and Compostwell Vasco for letting us be a part of this activity today. As Gandhiji said, we must be the change we want to see. We'd love to hear from you about your composting attempts. Do share your stories and queries with us through the comment section. If today's episode has inspired you, please like and share it with others and become a part of this green initiative. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to receive future notifications. We will meet again next week. Until then, Mogasu.